Hey, what's up, all you Mansfield maniacs? This is your boy, Maniac Mansfield, Josh Mansfield here, coming at you. And this is different tonight. I'm going to look at what I think so far is going to be the match card for WrestleMania 35. Where I'm going to predict the WrestleMania 35 match card. I'm not going to say who's going to win because we don't know the official matches yet. But looking at the landscape right now, before Fastlane, the matches I think are going to happen on the WrestleMania card as things stand. And from things we've heard that are probably going to happen, and from recent developments. One in particular, as if you've watched TJ Talley's Wrestling News Wednesday from earlier. If you haven't yet, please go do. But the big news, of course, is the big dog, Roman Reigns, is back, which is great. It's great for ratings. It's great for merch. It's going to be great for WrestleMania in general. And, so this WrestleMania is going to be stacked from what I can tell, from what I've been hearing. It's going to be stacked, but it's also going to be different because I'm pretty sure this may change. But from what I've heard and from what I can tell so far, this will be the first WrestleMania since WrestleMania 16 that The Undertaker has not wrestled. From what I can tell, there is no plans for him to wrestle, so that match is already taken out. Unfortunately, biggest Undertaker fan. The reason I started watching WWE back in late 2009, early 2010, when he was World Heavyweight Champion, feuding with Batista and Rey Mysterio. There's still the rumor that he could still potentially face Finn Balor. I think that'll only happen if Balor loses the Intercontinental title between now and a few weeks after Fastlane. But we'll see. But currently, I'm going to proceed as if an Undertaker match is not happening. That's how I will proceed. Now, John Cena and Kurt Angle, that's a different story. But we'll get into that. So currently looking at it, if they don't decide to combine a match, which they might, or if they choose to separate these two superstars out and not have them face each other but face other superstars, we are looking at a 16 to 17 match card for this year's WrestleMania, the largest in history. I mean, WrestleMania has been 7 hours as it is, so they can get it done, but it's going to be a tall order. They had 14 matches last year, so this is going to be big. And we'll see if they can pull it off without everyone feeling tired at the end. So let's get started. So first off, we're going to talk about the pre-show. I'm predicting about 4 matches, at least 4 or 5 matches at least, for the kickoff pre-show. The first 2, of course, are going to be Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Those are 2 automatic. The next match, and I hate to put it on the kickoff. I do. I really do. But there's no other place to put the Cruiserweight title match. There's been a tournament announced for who's going to face Buddy Murphy at WrestleMania. I'm torn between 2 potential contenders for Buddy Murphy's Cruiserweight title. But I think I'm going to go with the person who TJ Talley in our Elimination Chamber predictions video said to look for in the future. I'm going to go with Humberto Carrillo. He's young, yes, But I think those two can put on a good match. A fantastic match. I think I think it would be great to have it on the main card, but I don't see it happening, unfortunately. Alright, so those are 3. Next, we have the SmackDown Tag Titles. Currently, I see this going as a fatal 4-way. I see the Usos defending against the Bar, the Hardys, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Because Sami's supposed to be returning soon. That's what I can see. Shinsuke and Rusev, I think they're probably just, I hate to say it, but if they don't end up in a U.S. title multi-man match, which I'll get to later, I think they're just going to end up in a WrestleMania Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. As sad as it is to say, there's only so many spots. And yes, you need multi-man matches, but there's been so many. So yeah. I can't see him going in the U.S. title match. I can see... Yeah. So, but that's... For the SmackDown Tag Titles, that's what I think is going to happen. Actually, now that I think about it now, this is actually going to be an 18-card match, which I'll get to again in a little bit. So, the next match for the kickoff, I think, is going to be the U.S. title match. Which will be R-Truth versus Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. And most likely a triple threat. We saw already a triple threat on SmackDown, but unless they had Shinsuke or Rusev, I see they're just that being another match to put them on the card, continue Rey and Andrade's great matches. That's what I see for the kickoff. Are those 4 or 5 matches? If the US title makes it on the main show, that's just what I'm not sure about. So let's get to the main card. The main card. Coming off this week's SmackDown, there's a lot going on, obviously. So first one I'm going to get to is what I think is going to be the SmackDown Women's title match. I think it will be Asuka versus Lacey Evans. She's been rumored to get a big push, and if she does well, it can be a good match. I'd rather it be Asuka versus Charlotte again. I really would. I really don't want to see Charlotte with Ronda and Becky in the main event in a triple threat. I want to be Ronda and Becky one-on-one. She deserves her one-on-one with Ronda. But if they don't go that route, it's going to be Asuka versus Lacey Evans. So next up, based on what we're seeing on SmackDown, we're going to get to see AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, which that can be a good match. Originally I thought putting them in different multi-man matches, but it is one that could potentially happen. It's one of all the matches on this card, I think it's the least guaranteed to happen right now, as the card looks. So that is a potential match that could be on the main card. So now we got the Raw Tag Team titles. I think it will be the Revival defending against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. They've been having this storyline with them being on a losing streak and trying to get their win back. Trying to get a win. I think they'll have maybe a number 1 contenders match sometime on Raw, and Hawkins and Ryder will somehow get screwed out of it. Either that or they'll win by disqualification or count out, or they'll somehow get the shot. And then at WrestleMania, they will have a big match for the titles against the Revival. I can see it being a good match. Zack Ryder, he has had momentum. He had great momentum back, with the whole Kane, Cena thing. After, Zack won the United States title from Dolph Ziggler, and all that, Zack had lots of momentum. He had fantastic momentum, but WWE just took it right out from under him. He was their flavor of the month, and the fans weren't happy. I mean, even when Zack won the Intercontinental title, and TJ Talley will tell you, I was at his house when Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental title, my first ever time watching WrestleMania live. And I jumped off the couch and was right in front of the TV and about jumped through a ceiling because I was so excited. So yes, I am a Ryder fan, and I want to see this tag title match. So next up, there will be a multi-man Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Probably between Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Lio Rush, Elias, and Braun Strowman. Unless they do something with Elias and Honky Tonk Man Jeff Jarrett, which with the card being this stacked so far, I don't see it happening. But that's going to be like a multi-man Intercontinental ladder match. They always like to do ladder matches for multi-titles, which are always fantastic matches. They really are. So next up we have a match will be starting to be set up probably a couple weekends at Fastlane. Shane McMahon versus The Miz. That match has been rumored for a while. I think it's going to be a good match. I've said it before, I will say it again. Shane McMahon can wrestle. And these two, I think, are going to have a good match between each other. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now, whether there's going to be some stipulation to it, I don't know. We'll see. So, next up, we're going to have the women's tag team title match. Sasha and Bayley, because I think they're going to retain at Fastlane. Spoiler. I think they're going to face not a SmackDown team yet. They could face the Iconics. It's potential that they could face them. But I think if they're really trying to boost this WrestleMania up big, I think that they will have them face Lita and Trish Stratus, two Hall of Famers. I really think that will be the match, and eyes will be on it. I mean, Sasha and Bayley, they got great momentum. They've been stars, and you have the two, arguably two of the, if not the two greatest WWE women superstars in history. So I think that match is definitely going to deliver if it happens. So now we come to two matches where I'm not sure. They could either do these two matches separately, or they could combine one superstar from each and just put the others in multi-man matches. First one being John Cena versus Drew McIntyre. There was originally the plans for Cena versus Lars Sullivan. Those plans are now scrapped, basically. And they've been trying to give McIntyre a big push. So what better way, since he's not going to be in the Universal title match picture, as was originally planned, what better way than to have him face, one of the greatest WWE champions in history, John Cena. Which that match they can deliver. The next match, I think will be a retirement match. Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's, they've been looking for an opponent for him. And I think it'd be really interesting to do Samoa Joe. Kevin Owens is on SmackDown now. So that won't make sense. They've already done Angle versus McIntyre. They've done Angle versus Corbin. Braun versus Angle really wouldn't make sense. So I really think a good opponent for Angle would be Samoa Joe. to give him that push and finally get him in a match at WrestleMania. And, they've had great matches from their TNA Impact days, and I think they can have a good match. Angle can still go, so I think they'll have a good match. If they don't do those two separate matches, the Angle Samoa Joe match and the Cena McIntyre match, I think what they should do is Kurt Angle versus John Cena. Have them get a one-on-one at WrestleMania. Because it was Cena that inducted Angle into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago. So I really think that can be just a big ticket seller match. Having the two of them face off against each other. But we'll see. Alright, now we're coming down to the last 5 matches. So the next one that's probably going to be happening will be the returning Roman Reigns will face Dean Ambrose. Now, the rumor is that there's going to be one final Shield match at Fastlane, which not sure who the opponents are going to be yet, but that's the rumor. Is the Shield will reunite for one final match at Fastlane. My guess is either the Shield will win and Ambrose will turn again, or Ambrose will turn on the Shield during the match. And since Rollins is already busy with Lesnar, it'll be Reigns versus Ambrose, because we never got to see Reigns versus Ambrose in a feud, but we've seen them have matches against each other before with Survivor Series back for the vacant WWE title a few years ago. So I think Reigns and Ambrose can have one good match, especially if this is Ambrose's last match as part of the WWE roster. If he does decide to leave and he hasn't signed a new contract that we are currently unaware of. The noise you're hearing in the background is my roommate that just came back in, just so you guys are aware. So, the main 4 matches of the card. This past Monday on Raw, they were having the big Ric Flair birthday celebration, and we saw Batista return and beat up Ric Flair. Saying, "Hey, Hunter, do I have your attention now?" This match has been rumored for a long time, Triple H versus Batista. And this is going to be a rematch, basically, from WrestleMania 21, back when that was the main event for the World Heavyweight title. This time, the roles are reversed, with Batista now apparently going to be the heel and Triple H the babyface. And this is the first time Triple H has worked WrestleMania as a babyface in years. I think the last time he worked WrestleMania as a babyface was, I want to say, WrestleMania 29 against Brock Lesnar. Yeah, and that was pretty much the last time he won he won against Sting at 31. But, yeah, so this is going to be the first time we've seen Triple H wrestle as a babyface in years. So it'll be interesting to see Triple H getting cheered again if they keep it in this dynamic. So now we go on to the big 3 title matches. So we'll start off with the WWE title match. Daniel Bryan will defend, I'm predicting, against Kofi Kingston. Now, we saw on SmackDown, Kofi got pulled from his WWE title match at Fastlane and got replaced by the returning Kevin Owens. As a big Kofi Kingston fan myself, who has wanted Kofi to win the WWE title for years now, I was ticked, to be honest, to see that happen, until I realized what the actual plan is, which is, okay, if they would have had to do Bryan versus Kofi now at Fastlane, they would have had to have Kofi lose, because you're not going to have Daniel drop the title now, before WrestleMania. And the big reactions Kofi has been getting ever since that gauntlet match before Elimination Chamber, when Kofi got put into the match because Mustafa Ali got injured, and Kofi was the Iron Man of the night putting on a great performance, and the fans are big time behind him. This is great for Kofi because he's got great momentum. He's always had great fan support, and now it's even larger. Now that he's finally getting that one-on-one with the title shot run, hopefully. With the shot at the title. Merch for New Day is probably going to go up. They can probably do some redoing with some merch with just for Kofi. And, Vince has been impressed with the reactions Kofi's been getting. So I really think that Daniel and Kofi can tear the house down, really. They've proved that they can. Kofi has proved himself. He's a 5-time Intercontinental Champion, 3-time U.S. Champion, the longest reigning tag team champion in history with the New Day, and the longest reigning tag champ at over 800 days total. In more than any other superstar in history, Kofi has held tag team gold the longest. So he deserves this title match, and I think that if booked right, they can have a great match. So now we have the Universal title match between Brock Lesnar versus the winner of the Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins. Basically we know, so we know Seth's going to win this, most likely. How, I don't know. I personally didn't see Rollins as that much of a contender for Lesnar, but we'll see how they work it out. But they have a good potential. I mean, they were involved in the main event of WrestleMania 31, which became a triple threat for the WWE title between Lesnar, Reigns, and then Seth Rollins when he cashed in his Money in the Bank contract mid-match between Lesnar and Reigns. So we know Lesnar and Rollins can hang with each other. They've done it before. They've done it with another triple threat, including Cena, and that was a Match of the Year candidate that year. So Lesnar and Rollins can have a good match if Lesnar lets it happen. And then that brings us to the final match prediction for WrestleMania. The main event for the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. I've said before, I will continue saying it. I am not a fan of Charlotte being in this match. She doesn't need it. Becky versus Rousey needs to happen one-on-one, in my opinion. Bayley got her one-on-one with Ronda. Sasha got her one-on-one with Ronda. Charlotte got her one-on-one with Ronda. Now it's Becky's turn. Charlotte can face Asuka again for the SmackDown Women's title, and this time beat her for the title instead of retaining the title against her. I would love to see just the one-on-one, but I see why they're adding Charlotte to get her the Ronda rub, even though she doesn't need it. She's already had it. Personally, I would love to see WrestleMania 35 end with all 4 horsewomen of WWE, of NXT, standing at the ramp holding gold. Sasha and Bayley with the women's tag titles, Charlotte with the SmackDown women's title, and Becky with the Raw women's title. But I see why they're adding Charlotte in case they want to have Charlotte take the pin, which I don't think they should do. I think Ronda should take the pin to Becky, or tap out to Becky. But we'll see. It's going to steal the show. Becky and Ronda. Becky has proved she's got it. Wearing Charlotte's proved she's got it. Ronda's proved herself. So we know that this is going to be the main event, closing out the night. Now, whether the crowd's going to have anything left in the tank after these 17-plus total matches over 7 hours, we'll see. Hopefully, the other matches don't wear them out too much. But yeah, that's the final one. It'll probably be the triple threat, as much as many of us don't want it to be. But yeah, so those are my WrestleMania 35 match card predictions for what matches I think will happen at WrestleMania 35. Thank you for listening and watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment, let us know what stuff you want more of, what stuff you think we should change. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and have a good night. God bless.